Hi guys, what's up? Merry Christmas to you all, even though I don't really give a shite about it, to be honest. That's what working in retail does to you. You just can't fucking stand it, you know? But anyway, I'm not here to talk about Christmas. I thought it'd be rude not to say Happy Christmas as it is Christmas Day. But I'm here to talk about what I saw a couple of days ago which blew my fucking mind, and that was the Dark Knight Rises Prologue. I saw this on the 22nd, which was a few days ago, on the Thursday. I saw it before Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which those of you that have had your head in a hole or something, that's basically what the Prologue is before Mission Impossible. So if you live near an IMAX and that's on and you know it's a 70mm IMAX, go and watch it, because I swear to God it is fucking amazing. I'll go into detail in a sec. Mission Impossible is actually a good film. It's not the best one. It's better than the second, probably on par with the third. I don't know, the tough films to say which my favourite one is. But yeah, it's a good film. Whereas 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever it was, when The Dark Knight's Prologue came out, and he did it before I Am Legend, excuse me, I just couldn't give a fuck about watching that film. So I missed out on the Prologue. But whereas this time, when I knew it was before Mission Impossible, I thought, oh, they're good films, eh? That's a film I'll quite happily watch. And like I say, it's a good film. But anyway, you're not here to hear about Mission Impossible, you're here to hear about the Prologue. Alright. Now, just to forewarn you, this has... well, I'm pretty much going to tell you what happens in it, so spoiler alert, okay? I'm even going to put on the title of the video, spoilers. So if you've clicked on it without reading the title, then, I don't know, it's a bit stupid, but if you can't read, then I'm physically telling you this video has spoilers, right? So if you don't want to know what happens in it, get out now, okay? Go. Right? So anyone that's here now wants to know, or you've already seen it and you just want to hear my opinion on it, so here we go. Right. It starts off with, basically, remember in the Dark Knights, the design was like blue smoke, or blue flame, whatever it was. Well, this time it's like ice, and you get the DC, Warner Brothers logos, they pop up. And as, is it Sync Copy, or whatever the hell it's called, as that comes up, sorry, I've been suffering with a cold and just getting over it. And as a Sync Copy comes up, you hear Commissioner Gordon. I'll do my best impression that I can. He goes, "Thank you, Harvey Dent. I was his friend." And then you actually see a picture of him. And it's just basically exactly the same setup as what you see at the end of The Dark Knight, when he's giving a talk on him, but this is different dialogue. And he just says, "It'll be a very long time before someone inspires us the way he did. I believed in Harvey Dent." And then he walks off. Now, just to point out, that scene is actually, it's not IMAX, it's standard 35mm, I think. So when I was sat watching it with my friends, they were all scratching their heads thinking, I thought this was IMAX. But then after Gordon said his piece and walks off, it then cuts to IMAX. Was it Cardington? I think they filmed it. It's up in Scotland way anyway, but it cuts to just a field of long grass, and the shot is amazing. Cuts up, the camera kind of pans up, and then there's a jeep on the right of the screen driving, and inside I think there's 3 men with hoods on, so you can't see the faces basically. And you've got a doctor called Dr. Pavel, or Pavel, something like that, and a couple of other guys with guns. And they get to a plane, and there's a man from the CIA waiting for him. So they get to the plane, and the CIA guy's like, "Dr. Pavel, I'm CIA." And then I missed a couple of lines. He says something about, oh, you don't get to bring friends. And this doctor guy says, these guys aren't my friends. And then there's another bit I missed. They're obviously talking about the three men with the sacks over their heads. And the CIA guy goes, and why would I want them? And this other guy with a gun just says, they were trying to up the price. They work for the mercenary, the masterman. And the CIA just goes, Bane. And this other guy just kind of nods. And then the CIA guy just says, he kind of turns to his men and says, right, get on board, I'll call it in. And then it cuts to a beautiful shot of over the plane in mid-air. And it cuts to inside the plane. And the CIA guy just says, the call I've just made, there's room for me, my men, Dr. Pavel here, but only one of you, which is referring to one of these three hooded men. And then he tells one of his men to open the plane door, which to do. And he says, the first one to talk gets to stay on my aircraft. So they take the first guy with the hood up, hangs him out the plane door, and again it cuts to outside the plane. Remember, this is all IMAX, so it looks amazing. And there's no trickery, you can tell this is filmed in the sky. So this guy, this CIA guy, just kind of points a gun to the side of his head while he's hanging him out the plane door, and he said, who paid you to grab Dr. Pavel? This guy doesn't say anything, so he kind of fires into the air. And I couldn't tell if he actually chucked the body out, because it kind of, that part of the action's right in the very bottom corner of the screen, so I couldn't tell. But I'm assuming he did, because then the CIA guy goes, he didn't fly so good. So then he says, who wants to go next? So he put the next guy to the door. He says, tell me about Bane. Why does he wear the mask? And of course this guy says nothing again. He goes, a lot of loyalty for a hired gun. And then Bane talks. Now, he's the third and last guy with the hood over his head, and he's off camera when he first speaks. And basically, best impression I can give. He goes, well, perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. That's basically how he sounds. So this CIA guy kind of turns to him, walks up to him. Well, at least you can talk. Who are you? And Bane talks again. It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. Fucking phone ruining my impression. And then he says, no one cared who I was until I put on the mask. So the CIA guy rips the hood off his head, and there he is, Bane, full mask and everything. And he looks amazing. And one thing I should point out is, those of you that have been saying Tom Hardy's too small in height, don't worry, because I think Christopher Nolan's actually purposely filmed him up close, so don't worry. So the CIA guy just looks at him and says, if I take that off, will you die? Bane just responds with, it will be extremely painful. You're a big guy. For you. And then you see another plane. It's basically a Hercules or an AC-130, whatever you want to call it, that flies towards the other plane. The CIA guy just goes, was getting caught part of your plan? Of course. Dr. Pavel refused our offer in favor of yours. We had to find out what he told you about us. Which, if you didn't catch that, I think he says, Dr. Pavel refused our offer in favour of yours. We had to find out what he told you about us. Then you see this big plane again flying over the top. To the CIA, I can't say CIA, fuck, I'll just say the agent. The agent says, well, congratulations, you got yourself caught. Now what's the next step of your master plan? And then Bane just says, crashing this plane with no survivors. And then after he said that, basically this big plane, the cargo hold opens, and a load of, there's probably about 5 men jump out on ropes, jump onto the small plane, plant charges on the wings, shoot through the windows. Then Bane gets up, basically, pulls his arms from behind his back, kicks the shit out of the agent. And while this is going on, his men on the outside of the plane are hooking, basically hooks into it, so the plane ends up getting getting pulled up to vertical. If you've ever seen Licence to Kill, the James Bond film, it's like that. So the plane's hanging. And again, beautifully shot because you see all this outside and inside. And then Bane's kind of hanging on. All the other men drop to the bottom of the plane. Then the men on the outside put more charges on the tail of the plane, blow that off. You see all that in glorious IMAX, and it's amazing. Then they come through the plane, and the camera angle changes to from people at the bottom of the plane's point of view. So you see the men dropping down, and that's reminiscent of Inception, I'd have said. Beautifully shot again. Then they bring in a body in a body bag. Bane grabs this Dr. Pavel's arms and does a blood transplant from him to this dead body, which I'm assuming means when the plane crashes they'll think that the body there that they find will be Dr. Pavel, even though it's not. So yeah, the plane's vertical, body, blood transfusion. Then, from what I could gather, one of Bane's men looks like he's going to hook himself up to escape, but Bane says, now I actually missed this the first time, I had to find out on the internet what he said, but this is how he sounds. He goes, "No, they expect to find one of us in the wreckage, brother." And I thought, what the fuck did he just say? And he says to his man, no, they're expecting to find one of us in the wreckage, brother. So this guy just says, oh, we started the fire.
Oh, the fire rises.
And then Bane hooks himself up to this Dr. Pavel, while Bane's man sits down in the plane seat, puts the seatbelt on, and then Bane just says,
"Calm down, Doctor. Now is not the time for fear. That comes later."
Says, calm down, Doctor, now's not the time for fear, that comes later. And then Bane presses a button, and basically, I mean, words can't describe this shot, but the camera is above Bane and this Doctor. Bane presses this button, the whole of the plane drops from below him while they're hung from this grapple, and you actually see the plane just drop hundreds of feet below him, and then it just cuts to a shot of them being towed away, reminiscent of the skyhook scene from The Dark Knight, and they just get pulled off, and you can hear Hans Zimmer's music building up, and then it cuts off, and then you get the montage with the same music that's on the start of what's the track called? Agent of Chaos on The Dark Knight, or Bar Bastella on the Batman Begins soundtrack, but you know what I mean. Basically the music that it plays at the end of The Dark Knight when Batman gets on his Batpod and races off. It plays that, and you get a montage. You get Batman picking up that gun, whatever the hell it is, picking that up. You get to see Bane kind of walking up. He's got his full coat on. He's kind of like in a position like this, walking. Then you see Catwoman actually in a costume. Looks like she's outside a prison cell or something. You see Selina Kyle in like orange prison uniform. You see the Batpod with something attached to the right hand side of it, which I'm guessing is where Batman keeps this gun. That's just a guess, I don't know. And then you see that huge crowd of people that was filmed in New York and Pittsburgh. You see that, and you see Bane press a button, and then you just see him drop a broken Batman mask in the rubble. And it was amazing, unbelievable. There's been some people that said they still preferred the Dark Knight's prologue, which was incredible, don't get me wrong, but the sheer scale of this one trumps it as far as I'm concerned, because it's all done in the air. You can tell it's all real, it was done for real, it's amazing. Now, Bane's voice, just have to wrap this up quickly, a lot of people have said, oh, it's crap. It's not, it sounds great, it sounds like a Russian. Those of you who said you can't understand what he's saying at all is bollocks. I heard 75% of his dialogue. There's only that one bit when he says,
"No, they expect to find one of us in the wreckage, brother."
That was the only bit I had to read up what he said. But other than that, it's fine. And Chris Nolan's going to tweak it a little bit here, but he's not changing it too much. But yeah, stop bitching about it. He sounds fine. Tom Hardy is fucking amazing. He'll own the role. So anyway, if you've not seen it, go and watch it. Don't watch it on bootleg, because I'm telling you, I watched it after I'd seen it in the cinema, and it gives it no fucking justice whatsoever. Get it watched on IMAX, alright? Everyone have a good Christmas, and I'll see you all very soon.